There comes a point in a man's life when the thrill of the chase gets replaced by the search for peace. For many men, that age is 40. Have you ever wondered why a man who once seemed to thrive on pursuing women, who lived for the game, the validation, and the next new connections, suddenly changes his entire approach? It's not that he's broken or that he's given up on love. It's that something deep inside him has shifted. That relentless energy he once poured into the chase has been redirected. It's been invested into something he now understands is infinitely more valuable: his own peace. This isn't about giving up, it's about growing up. After 40, a man's definition of winning in relationships goes through a profound change. The metrics are different. It's no longer about conquest, but connection. It's not about the thrill of the pursuit, but the profound calm of a genuine partnership. In this video, we're going to break down the deep psychological reasons why many men over 40 stop chasing, what they're truly seeking instead, and why this shift is one of the most powerful signs of male maturity. We will explore this evolution, from the exhaustion of the game to the ultimate pursuit of a life built on solid ground. The first and most immediate reason many men over 40 step back from the chase is simple: raw exhaustion. The chase, as we know it, is often a young man's game. It runs on a specific kind of fuel, a mix of biological drive, social programming, and a deep-seated need for external validation. It requires a huge amount of energy, not just physical, but mental and emotional. In your 20s and 30s, you have reserves of this. You can afford to spend weekends swiping, crafting the perfect opening line, going on a dozen first dates that lead nowhere, and analysing mixed signals. You tolerate the emotional highs and lows, the drama, the inconsistency, because it all feels like part of the experience. The game itself feels like the reward. But after 40, that fuel tank is running on a different grade. A man at this stage has spent 2 decades or more building a life. He's navigated career ladders, financial pressures, maybe a marriage and divorce, fatherhood, and the general complexities of adult life. His energy is no longer a limitless resource to be thrown at any potential romantic interest. It's a precious commodity. It's allocated to his work, his health, his existing relationships, and his own growth. For many, the modern dating scene becomes a source of profound fatigue. While data shows that a significant number of adults over 50 have tried online dating, the endless cycle of matching, messaging, and meeting can feel less like an adventure and more like a second, unpaid job. The conversations can feel repetitive and superficial, a performance of authenticity rather than the real thing. This process can feel deeply inauthentic to a man who has spent years becoming more himself. He starts to recognize the patterns of the game with a weary familiarity. The breadcrumbing, the ghosting, the hot and cold behavior, these aren't mysterious puzzles anymore. They are simply signs of misaligned intentions or emotional immaturity. And a man over 40 has often developed an allergy to this. He no longer has the patience to decode ambiguity. He doesn't want to wonder where he stands. The energy he once might have spent chasing someone who was unsure is now seen as an investment with no return. The thrill of the chase is replaced by a simple calculation of time and energy. He asks himself, is this the best use of my life force? And increasingly, the answer is a resounding no. The game is exhausting, and for a man who is finally learning to conserve his energy for what truly matters, that's a price he's no longer willing to pay. This leads us to the most crucial shift in the equation, the prioritization of peace. If there's one currency that skyrockets in value for a man after 40, it's his peace of mind. In his younger years, a man might confuse drama with passion. He might mistake emotional turbulence for intense connection. He might even find a certain excitement in the unpredictability of a chaotic relationship. That's because his identity is still being forged, and external validation often feels like the hammer and anvil, but by 40, he has likely seen the true cost of chaos. He may have been through a tumultuous relationship, a difficult divorce, or simply years of dating drama that left him emotionally depleted. He has learned, often the hard way, that a lack of peace in his personal life spills over into every other area of his existence. It poisons his focus at work, strains his friendships, and harms his physical and mental health. Chronic relationship conflict is a known contributor to higher stress levels, which can have tangible negative effects. A man over 40 has often worked hard to build a sanctuary for himself. This isn't just his physical home, it's his internal state. It's the quiet weekend morning with a coffee and a book. It's the established routine that keeps him grounded. It's the mental space he needs to solve complex problems or simply decompress. This peace is his most valuable asset, and he becomes a fierce protector of it. He starts to see potential partners not just through the lens of attraction, but through the lens of their effect on his inner world. He begins to ask different questions. Instead of, "Is she exciting?" he asks, "Is she stable?" Instead of, "Is there a spark?" he wonders, "Is there mutual respect?" He becomes highly sensitive to red flags that signal drama, inconsistency, a victim mentality, or an inability to communicate directly. These are no longer quirks to be navigated, but direct threats to his well-being. A common sentiment from men in this phase is, "My peace is more valuable than your presence." This isn't an insult, it's a simple statement of a non-negotiable boundary. He has come to understand that a great relationship should add to his peace, not subtract from it. It should be a refuge, not a battleground. The chase, by its nature, is a disturbance of peace. It's about striving and uncertainty. A man who has finally found a measure of peace within himself is reluctant to give that up. He stops chasing chaos disguised as love. Instead, he waits for a calm that feels like it. As the desire for the chase fades and the need for peace grows, a third powerful transformation happens. The man's focus shifts from finding a conquest to finding a partner. These two things are fundamentally different. The pursuit of a conquest is driven by ego. It's about proving something, winning the affection of a desirable woman. The relationship itself is often secondary to the achievement of getting it. The search for a partner, however, is driven by a desire for genuine connection and a shared life. It's not about what he can get, it's about what they can build together. A man over 40 often has a substantial life already. He's not looking for someone to complete him, he's looking for someone to complement him. He's looking for a teammate. As one man in his 40s put it, "I think we all just want a true partner." This changes how he evaluates everything. Chemistry, while still important, is no longer the sole factor. He's learned that an intoxicating spark can sometimes signal volatile dynamics, not long-term potential. Instead, he prioritizes compatibility on a much deeper level. He's looking for shared values, similar life goals, and emotional resonance. Do they want the same things out of the second half of life? Can they navigate disagreements with respect? These are the questions that matter now. He is no longer impressed by a flashy performance. He values substance. Authenticity, self-awareness, and kindness become the most attractive traits. He is drawn to a woman who knows who she is, who has done her own emotional work, and who isn't looking for a man to fix her. He's looking for a grown-up love, a relationship between two whole, self-sufficient individuals who choose to share their lives. This desire for partnership also means he's more direct. The games of feigning disinterest feel juvenile and disrespectful of everyone's time. A man seeking a partner wants to know if the other person is on the same page. He's more likely to be upfront about what he's looking for. This clarity isn't boring, it's a sign of respect. It's the foundation for a real partnership. He's not chasing a fleeting feeling anymore. He's carefully and deliberately looking for the person with whom he can build the rest of his life. If this is resonating with you, and you've seen this shift in yourself or in the men in your life, let me know in the comments which point you connect with the most. Your stories and insights add so much value to this community, and I read every one of them. Another critical factor that lessens the drive to chase is cultivated self-sufficiency. A man in his 20s is often building his life from the ground up: career, finances, identity. In this formative stage, a relationship can feel like a central project that defines him. Society often hands men a script: get the job, get the girl, build the family. His purpose can feel deeply tied to finding a partner. By contrast, a man in his 40s has often successfully built many of the pillars of his life on his own. He likely has career stability and financial independence. He has hobbies and interests that bring him joy. He has a network of long-standing friends. He has built a life that he is, for the most part, content with. He isn't sitting around feeling empty or incomplete. He has learned to be his own source of fulfillment. This self-sufficiency fundamentally changes how he shows up in the dating world. He is no longer operating from a place of need, but from a place of choice. He doesn't need a woman to feel validated. He doesn't need a relationship to have a social life. His happiness isn't contingent on his relationship status. This mindset is incredibly powerful because a man who doesn't need a woman is free to choose one for the right reasons. He stops looking for a relationship to fill a void. Instead, he looks for a partner who can add a new, beautiful dimension to a life that is already full. This is a crucial distinction. The question is no longer, how can she complete my life? But how can she enhance my already good life? This makes him incredibly selective. A relationship isn't just the default next step, it has to prove its value. This is why he can seem less willing to chase. To some, the chase can imply a sense of lack, a message of "I need you to make my life better." A self-sufficient man's life is already good. His quiet confidence comes from knowing he'll be perfectly fine on his own. This isn't arrogance, it's a quiet strength. Any woman who enters his life must be a significant addition. Her presence must be more peaceful and more joyful than the solitude he has worked so hard to become comfortable with. He isn't chasing to escape loneliness, he is waiting to find a connection that is better than the life he has already built for himself. Finally, the decision to stop chasing is a calculated one, rooted in a mature understanding of risk. A man over 40 has more to lose than his younger self ever did. This isn't pessimism, it's prudence born from experience. He has spent decades accumulating assets, not just financial, but emotional and lifestyle assets too. First, there's the financial risk. A man in his 40s is often acutely aware of the economic side of a partnership. He may have gone through a costly divorce, and the prospect of another one is daunting. He's more discerning about a potential partner's financial habits, not because he's materialistic, but because he knows financial incompatibility can create immense stress. He may worry about being valued for his wallet rather than who he is, making him cautious. Second, there is the emotional risk. Heartbreak hits differently after 40. The resilience of youth, the ability to bounce back from disappointment, can wane. A significant emotional blow can feel harder to recover from when you have fewer years ahead to get it right. Past betrayals may have left scars, making him more cautious about granting trust. He understands that the wrong partner can set him back years, emotionally and mentally. Finally, there is the risk to his lifestyle, the peace and self-sufficiency we've discussed. A man who has built a stable life fears losing the freedom he's worked for. The thought of merging schedules, routines, and personal space can feel suffocating with the wrong person. His time is his most precious, non-renewable resource, and wasting months or years on a dead-end relationship is a terrifying thought. Because he has more to protect, his vetting process becomes more rigorous. The chase can be a high-risk activity, often based on initial attraction. A man over 40 is less of a gambler and more of an investor. He takes his time, he observes, he asks hard questions early. He's less likely to dive headfirst into a passionate pursuit because he knows the fall is much further down than it used to be. His caution isn't a sign of disinterest, it's a sign that he takes relationships very seriously. So when a man over 40 seems to stop chasing, it's not a sign that he's no longer interested in love or connection. It's often the exact opposite. It's a sign that he is finally ready for the real thing. It's an evolution away from the ego-driven games of his youth and toward a more conscious, intentional approach to relationships. He has traded the exhausting sprint of the chase for the steady pace of a marathon. He has realized that his peace is a non-negotiable asset. He's no longer looking for a conquest to validate him, but a true partner to build with. He has cultivated a life of self-sufficiency, so he chooses from a place of strength, not need, and he wisely protects what he has built, his finances, his emotions, and his time. By being selective, this shift isn't a retreat. It is an advancement. It's the quiet confidence of a man who knows his own value. He understands that what he brings to the table is not the frantic energy of a pursuer, but the calm strength of a provider, the wisdom of experience, and the loyalty of a man ready to build a lasting home. When he stops chasing, it's because he has finally decided to stand still, confident that the right person won't need to be pursued, but will simply walk alongside him in peace. If you want to understand more about the mindset of mature men and what it takes to build a lasting connection in this stage of life, make sure you watch this next video on the green flags men over 40 look for in a partner. Thank you for watching.